Happy HBK Wellness Wednesday, everyone. Master Trainer Kiona Leah back with you guys again. And tonight we are talking all things magnesium. So much magnesium. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Dr. Andrew Huberman, earlier today, and he spoke just briefly about magnesium L-threonate, which is a form of magnesium I had not heard of. So, of course, you guys know me. I always use these kind of things as an opportunity to do more research so I can bring you guys some more information, because what I learn, I love to share with you. Now, magnesium has played an incredible role in my wellness for so long. It is hard to imagine. But at my very, 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 very first T-Tap retreat, Teresa Tapp was doing basically the personal profile before it was a DVD talk at dinner on the Saturday night. And she was talking about the different body types and blood types. And she's talking in particular at one point about O blood types and how we have really fast digestion. Now I say we because I happen to be an O blood type. After the presentation, I went up to Teresa and I said, I know you said all that stuff and everything you talked about with an O blood type really fits except for one thing. This whole fast digestion thing, that is not me at all. What is going on? And she said, well, it could be that you have a parent who's an A or an AB who digests slower. Turns out that was not the case. My mother is an O and my father was a B, so we're all fast digesters. And she said, the other thing is you might be magnesium deprived. So she got me to actually get, just at that moment, this product way back then, Natural Calm. I went back to my room, took a tablespoon or two of it, and what a difference it made in how quickly my system eliminated all the different things that I was eating. So that really started me on this really long, very extensive love affair of magnesium as a supplement. And as I have evolved and gone through my wellness journey, I have found a bunch of different forms of magnesium. I actually have products for 4 different types of magnesium tonight, and I will link below an article for 10 different types of magnesium and the different various things they do. I'm going to try my best to touch on all of them in some way, shape, or form, but we're going to start with the ones that I have in front of me because those are a lot easier for me to remember and I have personal experience. You guys know how big I am on sharing with you not only what I say, but to do what I do and why things have changed over the years. So this Natural Calm that we started with, if you read the label for the Natural Calm, it talks about that it is magnesium carbonate, but the second ingredient is citric acid. So what this actually becomes, it's a powder, just so you know, you probably can't really see it really well, but it's a powder, it's not a capsule. When you put this in water, it will fizz and bubble because the magnesium and the citric acid are blending and they're creating magnesium citrate, which is arguably the most prevalent form of magnesium that you are going to find if you go to a health food store and look for magnesium. It does come in capsule form as well, and there's lots of different manufacturers, makers of it, et cetera, et cetera. But these are kind of where I started. This is really where I started, was the Natural Calm. I took this for years and years and years and years. Some of the Natural Calm will blend with calcium. Some of it will blend with vitamin C. It really kind of varies. It got a little harsh for my system, so I switched because that is one of the things about magnesium citrate that people find is a big complaint. It is one of the most bioavailable forms of magnesium, which is part of why it is sold so readily as a supplement, because when people are magnesium deprived like I was, this is a great place to start to get magnesium into your system really rapidly. However, it does come with one pretty big side effect, which is part of why I had to back off of it, and that is it can really cause gastric upset and work as a diuretic. So we have to be careful with it. You may start there, but you may not end or stay there because of the fact that there's all of these different things that can happen. And there are other forms of magnesium that will be less upsetting to your GI tract and your stomach. So let's talk a little about some of those. We're going to talk next actually about this little guy here, and this is magnesium chloride. My homeopath used to say that this is really the magnesium for experienced magnesium users. And again, I graduated from the natural calm to the magnesium sulfide after several years on the natural calm. Because you're talking about, I went on natural calm probably about 2003. It was a long time ago. So the magnesium chloride is also absorbed extremely well in the body, and it helps again with constipation, magnesium levels, and it also is really good at, I apologize, I can't read my own handwriting, heartburn. So it really balances that out. Another thing that you see with magnesium sulfide in particular is this is often a topical, magnesium chloride. This is often used in a topical format. So this right here is a magnesium oil. That's what they like to call it, because it feels slippery. It doesn't matter which one of these you actually put on your fingers. If you put them there, you're going to feel a slipperiness to it. So it feels like oil. It's not actually oil. But this is another magnesium chloride. This one is a spray. Pop. And this is fantastic for things like aches and pains. And the other big thing that Teresa used to talk about a lot when she would talk about the cellulite removal system and other ways of strengthening the skin was topical magnesium, putting the magnesium right on the skin so it could absorb into your collagen elastin matrix and really help to rebuild, help the body help itself. Usually what you're going to find is magnesium chloride to be able to do that with. It comes mostly in this liquid form. I can tell you from experience, if you take it as a supplement, it tastes pretty terrible, and you do not want to put it under your tongue. You want to put it in water because it will burn. But that is our magnesium chloride and what it's used for. Now, a lot of science is still being done on this. So there aren't a lot of randomized peer-reviewed studies that show this effectiveness, but from an anecdotal perspective, this has been used easily for 20 years. And you got to be careful because as it dries, and we'll see if I talk long enough for this to dry on my elbow or not, as it dries, it will leave kind of a white powder on your skin and gets itchy. So the best thing to do with this is I like to put it on right after my shower is done, spray it on, then I put my body oil over it that locks that magnesium into my skin even deeper, and then I towel myself off. That way I avoid that. So that is your magnesium chloride and some of what it will do. Of course, one of the oldest magnesiums in the world is this heavy duty baby right here, magnesium sulfate. Of course, commonly known as Epsom salt. And this again, it's not a particularly bioavailable form of magnesium. So rarely do people want to take this internally. Also, P.S., it is disgusting tasting. That's the other real reason people don't want to take it. There are some cleanses. I actually believe I featured that cleanse at one point on this channel as well. The liver cleanse, the liver gallbladder cleanse that I talk about with the grapefruit and the olive oil. Your precursor to drinking that is to drink about a tablespoon of Epsom salts and 3/4 of a cup of water every 2 to 4 hours. I forget which it is when I don't look it up, in advance. And the reason is it's going to make things move. And you want that when you're doing that liver cleanse. You need the GI tract clear. So as those gallstones come out of the gallbladder and the liver, they move through the system and they don't get caught up. So it is great for that. It is also, again, one of those forms that absorbs through the skin. That's why people use it in baths. And we've got wonderful bath recipes for it. I usually use at least 2 cups, sometimes 3. Again, you got to remember, if you're not feeling it, it might just be because you're not using enough of it just yet. This is also frequently put in topical format. This is one of my very favorite aches and pains creams, and magnesium is one of the main ingredients in this. Again, your magnesium sulfate is what's in this, similar to Epsom salts, and then they blend it with arnica, which is a fantastic anti-inflammatory as well, and lavender, other essential oils, as well as some CBD. This is definitely my favorite go-to. I get this at a local apothecary, so I do not know where you could find it elsewhere. I apologize, I can't leave you guys a link. So those were kind of the first three forms of magnesium that I really started with. working with a nutritionist, you guys know how much I talk about my love of my life. I swear to goodness, Heather Ruth, my nutritionist who's been with me since the same time as I learned about this. She hasn't been doing nutrition that long, but she's been doing acupuncture and other things. And she's been doing clinical nutrition now for several years. And she put me on this trisalts. Now, trisalts, similarly, if you read the ingredients list on the trisalts, it says magnesium bicarbonate or magnesium carbonate. Yes, carbonate. So magnesium carbonate. This actually says that too, but because of that citric acid that's also in there, it immediately breaks into magnesium citrate. This does not, because it does not have citric acid or any salts included with it. So what's interesting about this specific product, it also has calcium and potassium in it, so it's more of a broad spectrum. That's why it's called trisalts. It's a broad spectrum of our magnesium, of our minerals, but this also very much acts like magnesium taurate, which is another one of those forms that is generally blended, obviously, with taurine, another one of my favorite new supplements that I am learning about, thanks to that little adorable black fuzzball that I had with me talking about triacine not that long ago. So taurine, different than triacine, but also very, very important for heart health and blood pressure. And studies are preliminarily showing that this product, either bicarbonate or taurine, magnesium taurate, I believe is how they actually say it. Yeah, taurate, but it's combined with taurine. Those really help balance the blood pH. And for those of us who get really acidic because we're prone to a lot of inflammation for various reasons, this can be a fantastic product to work with this. And again, Heather tested me, looked at different levels, and went through a variety of products to land on this one. Again, this one causes less gastric upset than magnesium citrate, but it still can cause it. And I definitely know I have to use a very measured amount of this in order to make sure that I haven't overdosed on it the next day. I take this basically right before bed or a half hour before bed, and they're still working on studies of magnesium taurate in humans, but animal testing, especially in rats, is really showing a difference in the blood and the heart and all of the support mechanisms to the heart and the energy that they provide. This specifically seems to target those energy systems. So this is great or magnesium taurate is great for the heart, and the bicarbonate appears to do very similar things. So those are all the magnesium forms that I have. I do take one of these citrates per day. I take that at dinner and then space out my magnesium carbonate at the end of my day, because frequently when we're looking for magnesium to help us, it is much better to take it at night, half hour before bed, in order to really get those fantastic benefits from it as you move along. Just touching quickly on the rest of the magnesiums, if I can remember them all, is magnesium oxide is again great for constipation and other things like that. That is what is in milk of magnesia. So that is what that is, that white stuff. Now, that is not a particularly bioavailable form. It's fantastic for heartburn, constipation, and all of the GI things, but it doesn't do much else. If you're low on magnesium, drinking a bunch of MOM, as they like to call it back in the day, is not going to help you. So just be aware of that. Magnesium lactate is very easily absorbed and does not upset the gut, so it's a little gentler. This is one that a lot of people are looking at using if they need to take higher doses. Magnesium malate is also nice and gentle and has been looked at in studies for people with fibro and chronic fatigue syndrome. So a lot of natural practitioners are looking at this. There's not a lot of hard science yet in the medical industry for it. But again, if these are things that you struggle with, you might want to look into it. You might want to go talk to somebody like Heather or my homeopath or a naturopath and see if they would recommend this. And of course, with everything, a lot of it, even if they do recommend it, you gotta figure it out for yourself. Know your own body and go with what works with your body. Magnesium L-threonate. That's the one, looping back to the beginning of this, that got me interested in this entire topic. This is being shown preliminarily, and I will link at least one, if not both, of Dr. Huberman's podcasts that talk about this. below, but this is the one that they are studying specific to affecting and working with and being absorbed by the brain to help with sleep is what I was listening to today. He was talking mostly about sleep, but also depression, anxiety, and other brain and mood disorders. Again, this gut-brain connection is being researched more and more and more, and very, very promising. Our final two that we're going to talk about, magnesium glycinate, which is, again, very good for sleep and calming that nervous system, and may also help with anxiety, depression, stress, a lot of those brain disorders. And the very last one is magnesium orotate, which is absorbed really easily and not particularly laxative in nature, and may be great because of the uric acid, that's what it's combined with, for energy. And there was a really amazing, very small study in heart patients, about 78 people. So not super big yet, but we can all hope for those that have heart issues for more studies on this magnesium orotate to really see what a difference it could make in a healthy heart in particular. So 10 different forms of magnesium. I did have to use my notes to cheat a little bit there if you noticed, but I hope that helped you. You can always rewind, look again. I will link the articles and other podcasts as well as the practitioners, because Heather does work remotely. If you don't have somebody in your area, you can always contact her to look at your blood work from your doctor and help you from there. All right, you guys, that's what we're talking about. Next week, we're probably looking at a belly camp. So we may go back to looking at more of those belly bloaters that we talked about recently, or we'll find another fun topic. Also some great new information I just came across for other things on sleep as well. But what do you guys want to talk about? Comment below. Let me know. Don't forget, of course, like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, I'm Keona Leah. I want to see you move, live, and thrive. So I'll see you on the next one.